Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. This is an extraordinary meeting for the District Council, and this is to discuss the TTPP as been advertised. So welcome everybody, staff, councillors, and to any public who are watching at the moment. The first item on the agenda is apologies. There are no apologies having been accepted or leave of absences. Could I have a mover that we accept that, please? Shane, Councillor Barry, second. Okay, Councillor Hawes, passed unanimously, and Chris better vote too. Thank you.
We'll just call that vote again so that I can...
Okay, all those in favour? Unanimously. Okay, members' interests. Resolve that members disclose any financial or non-financial interest in any of the agenda items. If there anybody has anything to disclose? Okay, that's nobody. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Reynolds, Councillor Webb seconded. Chris Russell, 4. That's carried unanimously. Oh, okay, sorry. Moving on. So all those in favour? And against? Carried. Okay, we come to the declaration of oath by Councillor Sampson for what is the 9th term, is it, Rosie? 10th, okay. So, yeah. So, that's one.
I, Rosalie Sampson, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the Buller District the powers, authorities, and the duties vested on me or upon imposed on me as a member of the Buller District Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meeting Act 1987, or any other act. So now I have to do as I'm told, do I?
I'll be ready. On your house way.
Yeah.
I'll give that to Charlotte. She'll give you a copy. Thank you. Okay, thanks for that. Okay, we go to the next item on the agenda, and that's the appointment of the TTPP Joint Committee. We'll ask Simon to lead that, please.
I'll take the report as read and happy to take any questions.
Any questions, Shane? Councillor Barry.
Simon, just a question around the dates and locations for the meetings. Like, how often are they? Where are they? What's the by whoever's?
I could refer to the staff. You get any answers for those?
Yeah, so that is a hard one. If we are involved in the appeal or mediation process, that is generally determined by the courts. So, yeah, until they set that schedule, that's a fairly hard one to answer.
Is there a meeting later this week? Is this? Yes, there is.
There is. Yeah, there is.
17th.
17th.
So normal committee meetings are generally once a month for the most part. So if you're just talking about the committee meetings and how the committee deals with the TTPP, yeah.
And are they in Westport or are they in?
They are around the coast.
Around the coast.
Yeah, thank you.
But just to add, those are held online as well, so you can zoom in.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councillor.
I'd like to move draft recommendation and that name be inserted in the councillor Linda Webb, if she would accept the nomination.
Councillor Rutherford, before we go on to that, I was intending to open it up for discussion after questions.
I've moved.
I'll take some advice. Okay. Okay, Councillor Rutherford, you've got the floor.
Well, I've moved, and I've done that. I've moved Councillor Linda Webb, given her already extensive knowledge of the plan and the fact that she is a hearings commissioner, approved commissioner. We've heard from our staff, we've heard from Lois that moving forward, the committee would like to have hearings held by qualified commissioners rather than introduce and pay for external consulting commissioners. Clearly, Linda fits that bill. Sorry, Councillor Webb. So we'd be getting off to a great start if Councillor Webb A, accepted the nomination, and B, was approved by this council.
Thank you, Councillor. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Kerno. Okay, and we open that for discussion. Councillor Beth.
I'd like to know, well, I'd just be interested to know if Councillor Webb is keen.
I was going to nominate you, Phil, given your extensive background in developing the district plan. Yes, I would probably be interested. Yeah. I didn't know if anybody around the table was interested in that position.
Any other discussion? No? Well, Councillor Rutherford.
Well, my right of reply, I will exercise it. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So interesting comment, Councillor Webb, but my hearings, my qualifications of hearing has lapsed, so I don't have that at the moment.
I don't think you have to be a qualified RMA commissioner.
To include finalising my responses, but I could not currently sit on a hearing, so whereas you can.
Okay. Yeah, we've got the motion and we've got a seconder. Is there anything else? Okay, we'll put it to the vote. The motion is that Councillor Webb has been nominated for the position on the TTPP. Sorry. Okay, help me out. Okay, confuse the Mayor and Councillor Linda Webb, the Buller District Council's representatives on the Te Tau Whanui Plan TTPP Joint Committee, effective from today. Okay, so all those in favour? Against? That's unanimous. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, the next item on the agenda is item 3.3, and that concerns the TTPP plan, Buller District Council appeals, and staff member will introduce that. Who will that be? Bronwyn? Thank you.
Yeah. I'm Bronwyn Little, the Senior Policy Advisor, or the only Policy Advisor. So this report is regarding delegations. So delegations are something that the council can give to staff, they can give it to committees, or they can give it to subcommittees. And we have a delegations manual, which is currently being updated. But this particular delegation regarding the authority to lodge an appeal and to follow through on the process is no longer able to be, we can't use the current delegations because the appeal, the right to appeal a plan was given to the hearings committee, which no longer exists. And the process itself, there was no delegation ever conceived that it might be or anticipated Because usually a council prepares its own district plan and there's no need to be a submitter or to go into mediation as an appellant or a third party, but this is a very unique situation. You have three options in the report before you. One is the status quo, which with in the light of the fact there are no delegations, the council and councillors would need to both lodge the application and to also appear in and mediate on behalf of council. There's a second option of the council lodging the appeal and based on any report or recommendations of officers, and then delegating the process to officers, which is the mediation, and going on to appeal if that's required. And the third one is for council to delegate both the lodging and the process to the CEO, group manager of regulatory services. In our opinion, from the legal advice we've also received, option 3 is the full delegation to the chief executive for the whole process. This is just taking into account the time we have available, the resources, the expertise, and the experience which officers have with the TTPP. And we're recommending this only to apply to this phase of the TTPP. As I said before, the delegations manual is under review at the moment by officers, and that will come to you in your December meeting. So it would just be for this particular time and place. So that's a summary of the report that's before you.
Thank you, Bronwyn. Okay, any questions from anybody before we move on? Councillor Reedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've already briefly discussed them with Bronwyn and Simon. Just to bring them to the table, though, what surprises me is that 10 October was when the decisions were made. Sure, people have got to read and what have you. We had a meeting on the 29th, and what I've been told is that we've got sorry, I'm asking a question, am I? I'm actually making a statement. My apologies. Right. Why was this not brought to us earlier as an agenda item rather than having to have an extraordinary meeting today? I've got about 4 questions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Staff?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. The issues, I think, as Rebecca said, the issues have been coming to light as the officers have been using the plan, some of those issues. And the other one is that it has been a huge task for the planners within council to get used to using the new plan, and to most of our resources have been going into just actually getting to know the plan and understanding it and how it needs to be translated for the community. And it's, in terms of resources, that's taken up a lot of our time.
Just in response to the answer, please. The plan's only hasn't been approved yet, has it? I understand, so I'm not sure why, Mr. Mayor, we are working to that plan when it was still, my understanding was the BDC district plan is still in force, and we're not. So can I just get clarification as to what plan we're using at the moment, please?
So the RMA requires us to use both plans at the moment. So they're both in force at the moment.
So what I'm hearing there, Mr. Mayor, is that the current TTPP as we know it has been ratified.
That's my understanding, subject to appeals. Is that correct, Bronwyn?
Yes, that's correct.
About other councillors, appealing. I would have thought by now we would have had some. Are we aware of any other councils appealing in a manner the same way that we are looking at appealing, and are we going to join them on appeal? or are we going to go alone?
So we are working with other councils, so we are meeting with them and their planning teams to see what is working and where there might be some similarities in terms of appeals. So where we can, we will find efficiencies within that, and continuously keep working with them. So yeah, we will do what we can to make it the most efficient process.
Number 3, please, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
We talk about conflict of interest, and this is the reason why we're looking at delegating to the chief executive. But the chief executive is basically at the direction of governance. So what I'd like, please, is an understanding of why appointing the chief executive to undertake the appeal process when he has just as much, if you like, conflict of interest as a councillor would have. Does that make sense?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, the decision-making part of the TTPP is actually on the joint committee. The CEO is not on the joint committee. You are on a, what do you call it, a steering group, and that's separate in terms of the conflicts of interest.
I understand that. I have to take that as the answer, because I don't know the insides of that. And the last one I've got is the appeal process. Obviously, we're going to go through mediation. There's a cost associated with that. Then, if the mediation doesn't work, we then appeal to the Environment Court. Is that a cost to the Board of District Council or to the, if you like, the committee? So if I can just understand potential costs, we don't have the budget for it.
Yes, so there has been budget set aside in terms of district plan and legal budget. So that has been set aside, and where possible to make it the most cost effective, we would be utilising existing staff and staff who have been with this process for quite some time, that know the community and the issues that come up through development and by checking simple things like building consents as they come in. So we can see that where the issues are, and we would endeavour to use existing staff throughout this process.
Through the chair, if I can just add, so the CEs have agreed that we would share costs, particularly around legal, rather than each of us having our own separate legal bill. So we're going to try and, as Chris has said earlier, work together so we just minimise that duplication.
Yep, one more, Mr.
Just to carry on with that one then, so that's why I was asking before about joining other councils for an appeal process, given that we're going to incur the same cost. So that comes down to BDC alone or shared across, if we're looking at the same or similar appeal process. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Yep. Okay, thank you. Councillor Rutherford.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Sorry, Tony, I didn't see that. Councillor O'Keefe.
Thank you.
We have a seconder, Councillor Berry. Okay, so we open that for debate. Councillor Kernan.
It's not part of the debate, really, just a question, and I apologise. Sorry. Apologise in advance for not submitting this. I apologise for not submitting in advance. Just around the situation, this is paragraph 16. It refers to two situations which could create the risk of legal challenge. Now, one of them is around conflict of interest, predetermination of bias. I'm not clear what's the second situation, or are those two situations, or is that two separate situations?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's referring to the the decisions of our council and also the decisions of the joint committee.
Thanks, Matt. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, councillor Rutherford.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just for absolute clarification, we've been talking about, and councillor Reedy, raised the issue about joint appeals. So from my question earlier, to Lois, am I right in thinking that if a number of councils joined together on an appeal, they would all automatically be disqualified from mediation and hearing that appeal?
That seems to be the legal advice that the joint committee has received, that if they are all, that's when it will come down to the independent chair making those decisions on the way that they proceed with mediation. Correct.
So the independent chair would have the sole decision-making process on how that appeal was to proceed?
That is probably unknown to us.
Yeah, the decision to recuse themselves, the joint committee members to recuse, to not stand, to not be there when the decision's made, that is up to individual councillors. So you can't force one of those councillors to leave the table. So ultimately, right up until the end result, until they make that decision or they don't make that decision, then it's not possible to say. But the independent chair will always be left, even if they do all decide not to take part in that decision making.
Thank you for that, Mr. Mayor. On the basis of that information, I would like to go back and move that. In fact, we draft recommendation 1 and 2 as well as whoever moved 3. I believe that they're a package.
Councillor Keith.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Just further to that, just further to that executive summary, part 4 is just recommending that the that individual council representatives. So now we've voted Councillor Webb as a representative to exclude herself from any council decision making around TPP appeal process. Is what I'm reading here. Then would probably make you not conflicted. If I might suggest that's how I read it. Is that correct or not?
Yeah, that's correct. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Thank you, Councillor Hawes.
so we don't really have a problem.
Okay, Councillor Keith, that you've said all you need to say or want to say?
Right, Chair, yes, the movement as you give it back. Would be.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the result of the council: 1, delegate to the chief executive the power to appeal the decisions of the TTPP Poutini Plan Committee on the proposed plan, including but not limited to variations 1 and 2. Number 2, delegate to the chief executive and the group manager regulatory services the power to give notice to the Buller District Council wishes to be a party to any appeal of the decisions of the TTPP Poutini Plan Committee on the proposed plan, including but not limited to variations 1 and 2, joint decision making not required. And number 3, delegate to the chief executive, the group manager regulatory services and manager planning department the power to take all necessary steps to participate in, including the authority to negotiate or mediate, progress, settle, including as relates to costs, or discontinue any proceeding Buller District Council as a party to on the decisions of the TTPP Poutini Plan Committee on the proposed plan, including but not limited to variations 1 and 2, joint decision making not required. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? Thank you. That's passed. Got all of that? Okay, that brings us to the end of the agenda. With there being no further business, this meeting is declared closed at 17:06. The next meeting is Tuesday, the 25th of November, 2025 at 3:30 p.m. here in the Clockdale Chambers. That will be live. I look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you.